I have to say that I'm really surprised to hear this kind of idea, because it kind of canceling the both countries. I mean, it's not. It doesn't sound like a idea that can really solve the problem. It's kind of solving it from the outside, the frame thing, and not the real problem from the inside. I mean, the fact that a person from Palestine, a Jewish person, or from an Israeli person can work together and do things together, it's true, and it happens here, it happens abroad, but I don't think that the idea of making us part of the US would solve it.
What would be, in your opinion, advantages and what would be the disadvantages?
I can't even imagine it happening, this kind of idea. I can't imagine it.
Why?
Because it's, how can I say it? I don't think that the US should solve our problems by taking over the country.
This is not the idea, taking over.
So what is the idea?
The idea is, like, you know, Texas or Massachusetts or California are still sovereign states.
But they want to be part of the country that called the US.
Right.
They feel part of it. They feel maybe even proud to be part of this kind of country. We have our country. They want to have their country. So
but nobody is taking the country.
That's true. I don't say that it's a piece of cake. Okay, come on, let's make peace. But it doesn't sound the way to do it. And I just heard about it, so I'm still like adjusting the idea.
So are you talking about losing some kind of identity within this process?
It's canceling the idea of identity. It's saying, okay, so let's make us all American, and then we'll live together as American, part of the, as he said, the two stars. So we'll be a star on the flag, and we feel part of something big, but this is not the something big we want to be part of it, I guess. And I guess the other side either, because...
What are your points? Why don't you personally want to be part of it?
Of what? Of you?
Yeah. Why don't you want to be part of this solution?
Because if I would like to live as American, I will go and live in the US. But I want to live in my country, in Israel, with the things that make it special. And if I'll make it a part of something else, I think it will lose lots of the things that we have. I'll give you another example. Okay. I'm not trying to convince you. As you can see, I'm pretty confused now.
Just look, I mean, I'm German, okay?
You what?
German. I come from Germany.
Yeah.
The European Union, EU, would not allow such a process like the US Constitution does. For US Constitution started out with 13 stars. They started in 1770 something, and all the states that followed. And this was a result actually of a civil war between the southern and northern part.
True.
And then they started, you know, to add all these stars. And it's about, I think it's almost 50 years ago since the last state joined, which was Hawaii. European Union does never ever allow such a thing. But what I'm going to say, me being a German, okay, I truly have this feeling of home, this kind of identity with German.
Obviously.
But in some way, I do feel responsible, and I do feel, you know, that there are more advantages than disadvantages to belonging to this European Union.
But it's so different.
So I do believe, no matter what I personally do think about this idea,
Okay.
but I do believe that, you know, coming with the argument, you're losing your country, your identity, your culture, I would argue no.
Okay.
Because of my experience, I used to live in the US as well, but because of my experience within the EU, I truly think there can be something like a real national identity. You can even break it down. I think if you compare Jerusalem with Tel Aviv, totally different story. So there are different layers, you know, where you say, this is my identity. You can start with the family, you know.
It's true.
So I don't think the identity thing is a real argument against this solution.
But let me ask you, what will be the difference when we will be part of the US? I mean, it's still, so even if the identity will stay, okay? So you did, so the solution, so it's not a solution because the situation will be the same.
No.
What will be different?
Different would be that both sides, you know, becoming part of the same bigger thing, they would agree at least to some common values.
So I think this common thing should be let's live side by side or let's live together. I don't want to say the solution, but to be something of a big thing,
small things.
This big thing should be peace and not be part of the US, in my opinion.
Could you imagine that? I mean, I have been here quite many times. I'm not, and in my opinion, the situation within the last 10 years, what I see, it's getting worse. So, do you think it can be helpful if the one-state solution, two-state solutions are in some kind of dead-end street? This is what I see, you know. Just and also with realizing what's going on, what people can do in Egypt, in Tunisia. People. I'm not talking about politicians.
Yeah.
Could you imagine some kind of thing, some kind of people movement which goes away from these dead-end ideas?
I think there are already some groups that are trying to find those kind of solutions that, like you said, out of the box. If the solution will come from those groups or not, I don't know. I can truly say that I don't know by myself what is the solution. I don't know.
Do you think about it?
I think about it, and in my my correct, the way I think, the problem with me is that I always listen, and I always take something from different ideas, so I can make my mind stable yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
You're still young.
Yeah. And now, even now, this conversation and this idea sounds crazy for me. I still think about it, and I think, how can I take things from it? So I don't know what is the solution. From here, I feel that this is not the solution. From here, even from here. But I do think that, yeah, there are different kind of things to think of the situation, and sometimes when someone comes from outside, he thinks, okay, you are from the inside, so you can see the things from above. But maybe it's true, but at the same time, the person that comes from the outside can feel the things from the inside. So it's something in between, I guess.
Do you have the feeling that somehow in the near future, let's say within the next 5-10 years,
Okay.
something essentially is going to happen?
Ojalá. I want to believe in it.
And which way?
In which way? If I'll know the way, I think I'll go tomorrow to the government.
Would they listen?
Would they listen? I don't know. But I want to believe that there is a way.